Welcome to the OK Let's Learn podcast. This is two podcasts in one. One where we dive into tons of great books and stories, and another where we just dive into tons of interesting topics. My name is Kevin O'Keefe. So today, let's learn all about the sciatic nerve, sciatica. Oh my goodness, an important nerve in our body. And it's interesting, it's painful, it's something you need to know about. Hey, listen, up front, a quick note. Obviously, this is just for general educational purposes for kids and adults, just to have background knowledge on one of the most important nerves in our body, certainly one that as you get older, if you're one of my younger listeners in the audience here, as you get older, almost everyone has experience with this sciatic nerve. Why? Because you get older, your body starts breaking down, and yes, we're moving a lot, and this nerve can be effective, and it can cause a lot of pain. So nothing here is such that I'm giving you medical advice, I'm diagnosing anything, or I'm offering ideas on treating anything. We're just learning together, generally speaking. Up front, so you have pain in any way, shape, or form. Specifically, we'll talk about in your leg, right? Radiating from your lower back. This can be anything, so you need to see a doctor. But certainly, hopefully none of us right now listening to this have no pain in their lower back, have no pain shooting down one leg, and that's going to be key here. You can just know about it in case it ever comes up, in case you ever deal with it, in case any of your friends, parents, relatives, whatever, ends up having a situation. Oh, maybe that's a sciatic nerve. But again, like I said, listen, up front, I mentioned the sciatic nerve. What's a nerve? Well, it's simple. Our body has this communication system. It's kind of like this giant network of electrical wires, and these wires are called nerves. They carry messages back and forth between our brain and the rest of our body. When we touch something hot, nerves send a message to our brain. When our brain says, pull your hand away, well, that's another nerve, right? That's carrying a message back to our muscles. So nerves are all over the place, all in our body, and they're, like I said, like messengers. Fast, extremely fast. They don't look like blood vessels, but they can appear somewhat similar. They're long, they're thin, they're branching. You got to think of like a good metaphor being an upside down tree. That's our human nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord form basically the trunk of the tree, and the nerves spread outward into our fingers, our toe, and all our organs like the branches or roots of this tree metaphor. So nerves carry electrical signals. Blood vessels, obviously, they carry blood. And those electrical signals are what allow us to do pretty much almost everything. Move, feel, react, balance, sense pain. Without nerves, our body wouldn't be able to communicate with itself. So the sciatic nerve. Let's zoom in and take a look at this one. It's the longest nerve in our body. It's one of the thickest nerves too. Now, there are thousands of nerves in our body, but doctors have named about 50 to 100 major ones that they talk about often. I mean, just to name a couple here, one you've certainly heard of is the optic nerve that carries the visual information from our eyes to our brain. Without it, we can't see. But one that the doctors do talk about a lot is the vagus nerve. It really is the most important, one of the most important nerves in our body, and it connects the brain to our hearts, lungs, and digestive system. It helps control the things that we don't even think about and we expect and we take for granted, obviously, our heart rate, our breathing, our digestion. So even though we're only talking about movement down our leg here with the sciatic nerve, just know that there's tons of other nerves out there. So the sciatic nerve, as I've mentioned, it controls the muscles in our legs. It controls the sensation in our thighs, calves, and feet. So when everything is working properly, you can walk smoothly. You can feel the ground on your feet when you're walking. You can bend, sit, and stand without pain. But when something interferes with this nerve, that's when the problems can start. What is this word that you will hear called sciatica? It's not actually the name of a condition. It's the symptom. It simply means the pain is following the path of the sciatic nerve. This happens when the nerve is pinched, compressed, irritated, or inflamed. What does it feel like? Well, again, remember, I'm not diagnosing anything, but the different symptoms will include a sharp or shooting pain from the lower back down one leg. Key thing is one leg. It's like a burning, tingling feeling. It's like numbness in parts of your leg or foot. There's like weakness in your leg. And talk about like moving, sitting down. Hey, right up front, I'm going to tell you, I'm doing this episode because there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Oops, sorry for the pun. Yes, it shoots right down that lower section of your back. This happened to me. So without digressing, I'll get back to this later, but ultimately, I'm convinced that I pinched my sciatic nerve, and we'll get to this. But the important detail you need to know is that, like I said multiple times, it affects one side of the body, not both. So it's like the nerve is being squeezed. You're taking that water hose and you're squeezing it, and then the hose is like, stop. So what are some of the causes? Well, some of the most common involves our spine, which is our bone that runs down our back. One of the causes could be what we call a herniated or slipped disc. Between the bones and our spines are like these soft cushions, like this Play-Doh, that are called discs. Sometime one of these discs can bulge out or they can rupture. They kind of move. When this happens, it can press on our sciatic nerve. This is often called, you'll hear this, a slipped disc. Even though nothing actually slips, it just kind of bulges out. Well, another cause could be spinal narrowing, what they call spinal narrowing. It's the space where the nerves travel that can become tighter, and that can squeeze the nerve. Well, another cause could be our muscles tightening back there. Yes, back in our rear ends, the muscles can press on the nerve. And injuries, overusing our back, doing something, especially as we get older, that we don't commonly do. You're twisting, you're lifting, you're moving suddenly. That can irritate the nerves. And the key thing is, well, how do you know it's sciatica? Again, I'm not diagnosing anything, but definitely don't diagnose it yourself. But just know that, it could point towards this if, like I said, again, pain traveling down from the lower back, down the leg, you got tingling, you got numbness, and no doubt about it, you got pain that changes when you're moving around. Up front, you need to see a doctor. You go to see a physical therapist. Some people go to chiropractors, an orthopedic doctor. Bottom line, the professionals are going to be able to diagnose this. What do? When I've gone to physical therapists, they have you move around, they do physical exams, they look at the strength of your legs, your reflexes, how you walk, how you sit up, how you sit down. Obviously, they can take pictures, they can take MRIs, they can take x-rays. This will help identify ultimately all the above, what's pressing on the nerve, what's happening, is it the nerve? Does it go away? Well, fingers crossed. Yes, it can improve just, typically over time. This could be a few days. It could be a few weeks. Some symptoms will last longer. What can you do to prevent it? Key thing, good posture when you sit down, when you stand, definitely staying active. Obviously, when you're lifting things, use your proper form, use your legs. Don't do anything that your body is not accustomed to doing. Obviously, as you get older, all these problems end up compounding upon each other. But you got to keep your muscles strong and flexible. Obviously, eating well, a great diet will certainly help. So why is it so important? Well, because it connects your brain to our legs, it plays a huge role. Without the sciatic nerve, walking is going to be difficult. Feeling your feet almost could be really compromised, and no doubt our balance. And I'll wrap up this episode on the sciatic nerve just to give you a little window. I am not telling you if my symptoms are the same as yours. You have a sciatic nerve problem. As you can tell, I have said this multiple times. But here's what happened. I'm sitting in a meeting, a different kind of chair, no doubt. It's the kind of chair I would never like to sit in. So what did I do? I sat down in this chair. And what did I do? I slouched in the chair, probably because it was uncomfortable when I would sit in this particular chair. So I slouched to almost think, yeah, I'm going to help myself. Listen, I've had back issues here and there that just all of a sudden come out of nowhere. And then thankfully 2 days later, I'm back. I've had situations where I've had to go for physical therapy because of back issues. And certainly I think it was diagnosed as some type of slip disc. But in this case, this was Monday night, and here I am on Thursday morning. Well, it started at that point after I got in the car, drove like 10 minutes, I got out of the car, and then I found myself like, whoa, I can't even move. My back hurts, my leg hurts, I'm like limping. And what's going on? Of course, it's my back again. So the next day, I couldn't sleep that night. I could not sleep. I needed the Tylenol PM to get through the night. The next day, which is Tuesday, walking around, I'm limping. Everyone's saying, "What's going on? What's wrong?" Yeah, there was no doubts, and I had all these symptoms. Tuesday night was the worst. Absolutely, positively couldn't sleep. Intense pain. I said, this is crazy. And thankfully, again, moving around Wednesday, fine. But I had these symptoms going down my leg, hard to move, hard to put my pants on in the morning, hard to sit down, and hard to stand up. So, The bottom line is, hey, sciatic nerve. I also knew, as you get older, you get to know your body. And I also remembering this happening to me when I was in a course, and over literally 4 to 5 days, I would be sitting down in a classroom. In this case, it was down in Princeton, New Jersey, and I was slouching very often in this chair, trying to get comfortable, and over plenty of hours, because I had to sit there, it really got inflamed. It really had the same kind of reaction, same kind of symptoms, and there's no doubts that, hey, you learn, but hopefully some of us here, my listeners, can have a better appreciation, background knowledge that there is something called the sciatic nerve that controls our leg movements, and you got to be careful with everything you do. Friends, thanks for staying with me on this journey, learning all about the sciatic nerve, sciatica. Reach out to me at kevmok21@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group called OK Let's Learn. The link is in the podcast notes, and we also have a YouTube channel, so you could listen to the podcast here if you like on YouTube. And finally, always appreciate the reviews on podcast platforms. And if it's Apple Podcasts, top right-hand corner, there's a plus button that will have you be able to be subscribed to the podcast, and you can get notifications on all new episodes. Until next time, have fun and keep learning.